Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Justin with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking a closer look at the Pype-Bomb catback exhaust system here with the traditional polished tips, available for all 2019 and newer 5.7 liter Rams. Now you guys should be checking out the Pype-Bomb if you're looking for an aggressive but not over the top tone, along with a full stainless steel build, all at a very attractive price point. But since this is an exhaust video, after all, let's dive right into the sound clips you guys heard at the top of our video. And listen, the Pype-Bomb system is very solid both in construction and in function. Certainly not the loudest system in the category, and that's okay because not everybody wants or needs the loudest truck on the block. Instead, what you are getting here is a nice deep growl worthy of, I would say, a healthy 3 out of 5 on my 1 to 5 or 1 to wake the neighbor scale. Now, Pypes themselves does mention a little bit of drone inside the cab while cruising. Certainly, I will agree with that. Not the worst system I ever heard in regards to Pypes, but definitely not the best either. All in all, guys, what you can expect here is a well-rounded option that to me provides just the right amount of bark out of your 5.7 Hemi that will have the neighbors giving you the thumbs up instead of dirty looks. Let's talk about how the Pype-Bomb system does get its name, and here you have 2 different parts coming together to shape that aggressive sound. First and foremost, guys, let's start off with the muffler here because you are looking at the Pypes Violator series muffler. It is a straight through option by design, and that's going to allow for maximum flow and sound. Now the system then passes through the 3-inch inlet pipe here, does kick down a 2.5-inch mandrel bent tubing after that Violator muffler before reaching the second part of our Pype-Bomb equation, maybe the most important in my mind, and that is the massive 4.5-inch resonated tips. Now this is the calling card of any Pype-Bomb system, and it really is awesome seeing these guys installed under the bumper. Now these tips have been completed in your more traditional polished finish, but just a heads up here, guys, Pypes does also offer this system in a stealthy black tip instead for a few bucks more, and of course you can find that here at AT as well. Now going back to those tips here, guys, again, one thing I really do like about this system, I kind of just mentioned it in passing, but those 4.5-inch diameter tips are about, I would say, 1.5 feet long or so here. That's going to give the rear end of your Ram a much more beefy appearance when installed. I like it. It just, to me, it adds a lot more muscle to the rear of the truck compared to like a more traditional smaller tip. Now, I do want to mention here, guys, the tips themselves, they are made from 304 grade stainless. The rest of the system is going to be the more affordable 409 grade stainless system. So yes, full stainless throughout here, and that will be a great bet when we're talking about corrosion resistance long-term from the elements. Finally, guys, the system does include all of the necessary hangers, clamps, all that good stuff needed for a relatively easy installation. Now, even though the Pype-Bomb is packing that full stainless build and those massive tips, the price point does remain relatively affordable overall when compared to some of your other options in the category. In fact, at or just below 700 bucks, this is gonna be one of your more affordable full stainless options on the site for your Ram at the time of this video. But switching gears, let's segue into the installation. We want to show you guys what it takes to not only remove the stock system, of course, but get the new system in place. Now, the site's going to call this a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you at least an hour to get in place from start to finish. But to give you a better idea of how this one will go down at home, let's throw it out to the guys in the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, an exhaust hanger remover tool, 14 and 19 millimeter wrenches, 15 millimeter ratcheting wrench, an extension, 13, 15, and 16 millimeter sockets, a 14 millimeter swivel socket, and some penetrating lubricant.
What's up, guys? Today we're installing an exhaust on our Ram. First, we're gonna watch a quick uninstall video showing you how to remove your factory exhaust, and I'll meet you right back here for the install.
First step here, we're gonna grab our hanger removal tool and pop the hanger off right above our resonator on our passenger side tailpipe. The driver's side tailpipe is one piece all the way back to the muffler inlet, so we're gonna attack that later. So for right now, we're gonna do this, and I've lubricated it with WD-40. It makes life a little bit easier. All right, next step, grab your ratchet and your 15mm deep socket, and we're gonna loosen up the clamp holding the tailpipe to the rest of the exhaust assembly. All right, hanger's out of position, clamp is loosened up. Let's get this exhaust pipe off. All right, so at this point, we're gonna focus on our driver's side tailpipe. Now, like I said, it's all one piece. I have a pull jack here right behind the resonator just to give it some support once we start disconnecting things. I am gonna remove this tip, however. Removing this tip gives you another foot, maybe foot and a few inches of extra space that you don't have to worry about feeding out of the frame. So we're gonna take this guy off with a 13mm socket. Next, we can pop the hanger out of the isolator using our hanger removal tool right above that resonator. All right, so now we can disconnect the hangers right above the muffler outlet. There's one on each side. Grab your hanger removal tool and get these guys off. Now, as you can see, I have a pull jack here supporting this as well. So we have two different points of support for this exhaust. Now for this one, it's tough to get the hanger removal tool in here, so I'm gonna use my pry bar to get this guy off. All right, so next up, we're gonna focus on this flange here. Now you could bypass this and go straight back to the cat, but that's a lot of exhaust to take off in one piece, so I'm gonna separate it here. Now, once we have this taken care of, there is one more hanger to remove, but for now, grab your 16mm socket and disconnect these two bolts. All right, now when you pop this guy out of the hanger isolator, this is all gonna come loose, so you wanna be prepared for that. Before we do so, there's a ground strap here. I'm just gonna disconnect that from the factory tubing. All right, so that way it dangles here and we can reconnect it to our new exhaust later. So now we can grab our hanger removal tool and pop that guy off. All right, now you can take this exhaust off.
So now that we have our stock exhaust removed, the first thing we're gonna do is install our new front pipe. Now we are gonna be reusing our metal gasket that goes in that flange. We also have some new hardware. We have a bolt and a flat washer for one side and a flat washer and a lock nut for the other side. So now we can reinstall our metal gasket and then we'll throw our pipe up there with a bolt and a flat washer through one side and then another flat washer and our lock nut on the other side. And now we can get our pipe straightened out and take a 14mm socket and wrench to tighten down our hardware. Next, we can install our muffler. So we'll take our 3-inch clamp and slide that over our muffler inlet and then slide that onto our pipe. And then we can add our 2 hanger clamps. Now these have a couple nuts so that they're adjustable so that you can raise or lower your muffler to get your fitment better. So we'll slide this into our rubber isolator. And now since this isolator is higher, we have our hanger adjusted a little higher for that. So we'll slide that one in, and then we can rotate our muffler and slide that into our clamp. Now with our muffler in place, we can go back to our clamp and take a 15mm socket to tighten it down.
Next, we can install our driver and passenger side tailpipes. Next, we can install our tailpipes. We're on the passenger side first, so we'll get a 2.5-inch clamp over the edge of our pipe, and then we'll get our rod into our rubber isolator. Next, we can do that same thing on our driver's side. We'll get another one of our clamps, slide that over our pipe. Now with our clamp on the pipe, we can slide our rod into our rubber isolator, and then we'll connect our tailpipe to our overaxle pipe. Now we can come back to the two clamps on the outlet of our muffler and take a 16mm socket to tighten these down. And then you can take a 19mm wrench to snug up the two larger nuts. So now we can center up our tip and take a 15mm socket to tighten down our clamp. And now we can go over to the driver's side and do that same thing with our 15mm socket. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Pypes Pype-Bomb dual exhaust system with polished tips, rear exit for your 2019 and newer 5.7 liter Ram 1500 with factory dual exhaust. Thank you for watching, and for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.